if we want to transition to another topic here, or if you want to throw this under the next topic. But I feel
I
like we
think I
got
know
to.
what you're. Yeah, I think I know what
I
you're
think you
willing to.
know where I'm heading because we're talking about
Yeah,
high-profile transfers.
yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna lead into that. I got you. I got you.
all
We're
right,
gonna
go
lead
ahead,
right into it.
Paul.
I'm just gonna say that I want to give a special shout out to Sam Hartman, the transfer quarterback for Notre Dame, because I was watching their spring game and
Yeah,
he
looked
looks really good. And of course, I'm gonna shout out A.D. Mitchell at Texas because, bro, let me tell you, he looks like the best receiver on the roster, and that is a roster that has an all Big 12 receiver in Xavier Worthy. A.D.
Yep.
Mitchell is going to be a stud, and it's crazy. But yeah, I had to shout that out. But of course, the next segment that I'm going to lead into, oh so undiscreetly, is that not only does it give us a first chance to look at our transfers, it also gives us a chance to look at coaches that are in their first season with their respective teams. And what I mean by that is Colorado, because that's the team that everyone is watching. I know you saw the viral video of how empty their spring game was the year before, and then they sold out this year.
45,000 people plus.
Yes. And that's all because of Coach Prime. And they showed up in the snow. They showed up in the snow.
Yep.
But Matt, I'm gonna let you, I know you've been wanting to get up. I know you've been wanting to hop in there. What you got to say about it?
I'm just gonna say something. It's really this is why you bring in Deion Sanders. I'm just gonna run through a number here really quick. The attendance at Colorado's spring game surpasses the aggregate total of the last 9 spring games combined, which means if you take the past 9 years and you added them all up in terms of people who went to the Colorado spring game, you wouldn't hit the number that they hit this year with 45,000 plus people. It's only slightly smaller than the biggest 3 spring games that they've had in the history of Colorado athletics, including the one after they won the national championship game. After they won the national championship, there wasn't a game back then. They were one of the 2 spring games that was broadcasted by an ESPN network. In fact, they got to be on ESPN, and even Georgia, the defending 2-time national champion, was on ESPN2. 45,000 plus people, and Deion Sanders shows up in a cowboy hat. Shedeur Sanders looks great. Travis Hunter looks great. And their defense looks like absolute crap. Where have we seen this before, huh? A hotshot coach with a really good quarterback and an explosive offense and a crappy defense? I think it was USC last year, wasn't it? Huh?
I was gonna say, yeah, look no further than last year.
And they made it pretty far, I think. They made it all the way to the Pac-12 championship game before they finally met a team that was a little bit more tough, a little bit more veteran, and then it was over for them. But and that's a huge victory in terms of Colorado football, in terms of Pac-12 football, a conference that's struggling right now in the midst of expansion and everything going on to maintain its relevancy. That a team that's usually a bottom feeder, 1-11 last year, because of a coach just drew, like you said, in the snow, drew over 45,000 people to their spring game, and have 2 superstars in Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, who looked absolutely amazing out there. Now, the thing is, too, with Colorado, though, Les, I think today alone, they've had 13 guys enter the transfer portal over the past weekend or so. And it does bode the question of what does that mean this late in the year? Are these guys who are from last year's regime who are starting to head out in favor of the guys Coach Deion Sanders is talking about bringing in? Who are these guys? And how much roster turnover will affect them going forward? Because I'm not going to lie, Colorado has a tougher schedule this year than USC did last year, and that's saying something. And if they don't get that figured out, it could be a bit of a rough ride for Colorado. We really like them. We like Coach Prime, but let's be honest here. I wouldn't be surprised if at one point this team was like 2-5, just because of like the tough schedule they play and as much overhaul as they're having right now. But this spring game is a great example of why you just bring in the best guy available and throw money at them. Because if you do, you have 45,000 people at a spring game, and you've got unmitigated hype on your side. And now all they have to do is at least be, passable as a football team, and they'll back that up.
So here's the thing, though. You said they could. Don't be surprised if at one point they go 2-5. Here's the thing. That's already another win more than last season. They're already headed in the right direction.
Yep.
So, I know there's going to be a lot of hype surrounding Deion Sanders and Deion Sanders' regime at Colorado. I get that. But here's the
Mhm.
thing. People have to remember that these things usually do take time.
Yes,
And
they do.
even and taking over a program that went 1-11 last year was probably considered the worst Power 5 job you could have. It's not going to be fixed overnight, no matter how many transfers he brings in.
No.
Yes, 13 have entered the transfer portal as of today. But of course, you got to remember he's got 30 that interred from the transfer portal already. And more could still be added. And I think that's a big reason why they're leaving is because more is about to come in. Outside of the receiver, Montana Lamonius Craig, I'm sorry if I butchered his name. That one was the one that was surprising me because the other guys, they were more guys that were on the team before Coach Prime got there and knew that they're probably not going to get any chance to play now.
Yeah.
But he was the one that surprised me because he had a very monster spring game. He had 3 catches for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he had an amazing game. So I think that has more to do with the fact that it's going to still be a very loaded receiver room, and I think just he wants his opportunity to be a more wide receiver one somewhere else because he showed that he has that type of capability. I think that's more anything what that's about. But the overall thing is people just have to remember that Colorado's still headed in the right direction, whether people want to see that or not. And the thing is, I said this when he was at Jackson State. Shedeur Sanders, a lot of people called me crazy. Shedeur Sanders, I said last year at Jackson State, I would take him over several top-tier Division I Power 5 quarterbacks. I thought he was a top 5 quarterback last year, and now he's going to finally get a chance to prove it this year. And I think he looks every bit as good. So, yeah, I think it's really exciting to really see what Colorado's going to do this year. But again, people have to remember, even with all the hype, if they win 2-3 games, that's still an improvement. Yep. Hell, if they make a bowl game, that's amazing.
And if they do anything near what USC did last year, that's going to be like a monstrous W, as they say.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I know Matt could not wait to talk about Colorado because that's the team that's the team we all wanted to see. Let's be honest.
Regardless if they're bad, good, indifferent, or 500, they're going to be interesting to watch, and that's what makes it fun, especially at the college level.